Hey guys, Grant here with another Gutter Growth podcast for you. Today I've got Travis Earles with me. You're out in Virginia, right?
Yes, sir.
Owner of Gutter Works, man. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So we've gotten to know each other over the past couple of years, so I might ask you some questions I already know the answers to, but man, let's tell our listeners a bit about you. You were in Always in Gutters. What have you been doing for a while?
So we've been in construction and home services for a little over 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then started into gutters back in 2020.
What was your specialty more so in the home industry there?
We were actually about 50% new construction and 50% remodels.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite there to do, from scratch or?
Yeah, from scratch. I mean, it's, you got a clean slate to start with. So, it's nice to go, with a clean slate and get started. But, the remodel, it wasn't, you were always having to figure something out, right? So,
Yeah.
So that was nice too. But it would get old sometimes.
Were you ever dealing with a gutter contractor in those days?
We were. Yep.
Was that a good experience, bad experience? Nothing to
Well,
say, really.
That's actually how we ended up kind of getting into gutters originally. So the first gutter contractor that we used, he'd started getting a little older, started having some health problems, so anyway, we switched, and it was great. Other than that, trying to schedule and all, once he started having some issues, so we ended up finding another gutter guy. He did great for us. Not a lot of communication.
Okay.
The work itself was pretty good. And without getting into a lot of details, he actually got hurt on the job, and then we realized the need to, okay, we're going to have to kind of start taking care of this on our own. So that's how we got into gutters.
It's been 5 years now. This is your start of your fifth year, right?
Started our fifth year, although the first couple years we were just doing our own jobs.
Yep.
Then somebody found out we had a gutter machine, asked us to do a job, so we did. And then somebody else found out, asked us to do a job, so we did.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that kind of steamrolled a little bit, and then we're like, hey, maybe we can turn this into something. So for the first 2 years, it was that. The next 2 years, we're kind of trying to figure out what we were going to turn it into. And then last year was a kind of a full-on growth year, first time year just in gutters. So, yeah.
What did that look like as you transitioned from like doing your own work to now, essentially needing to go out and sell? What was that initial emotion that you had behind that? Like, sure, the first couple were just referrals, right?
Right. Yep.
Still probably kind of closed deal, as long as the price wasn't astronomical or something. But once you got to get out there and you said like, okay, man, I guess let's try gathering up some clients. Did you find it to be the same as, the walk you had already walked in the home service business, just in a different style, or completely different?
No, it was kind of different for us. We obviously, like you said, the first number of clients, quite a few, were all referrals from contractors that we knew or had worked with, over the years. And then, of course, they started recommending us to people that weren't necessarily their projects, but they had gotten called. So that's the referral part is how it started. Then after that, it's like, okay, well, let's do, I guess, some grassroots kind of stuff. Let's, put out some posters and hand out some flyers and those type of things. So we did that, and that kind of grew a little bit. And then in 2024, toward the end of the year, after getting hooked up with you guys, yard signs were being pushed pretty hard. I was always, I'm going to be honest, always kind of anti-yard signs. We don't do that. That doesn't work, And so we bought 100 yard signs, put them all out in one night. We actually went out in the middle of the night and did it. Put 100 yard signs out, and the phones blew up. So Yeah. So from that point on, I became a believer in yard signs, of course. And
Yeah, I mean, we all have our little ways and how we feel about them. I will be very transparent. I feel very uncomfortable putting out signs.
I do too.
I don't know, probably something my mom or my dad or who knows or God, whatever it is. I'll do other stuff. I won't put out, I'll speed on the freeway or something, but I will not. Obviously, I'm a promoter of the yard signs. We talk about it all the time. And sure, I put it when employed or on my own property, meaning as something I'm working on, I have no problem sticking. But just doing all these random yard signs, man,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm committing the crime of the century.
Well, that's like I said, we went out in the middle of the night and did it.
Yeah.
Partly because, just trying to stay away from all the traffic, that type of thing. But yeah, part of it's what you're talking about.
I can't get over it, man. It feels so weird to me. It's got to be done though.
Yeah.
So the next round is on the employees, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So you started blowing up a bit there. Let's step back a little bit. Yeah, you came into the program. You've just been doing. You dove into the education side, right? I think you asked a lot of. I wouldn't say there's right and wrong questions, but you definitely asked a lot of the right questions. What did last year look like for you as kind of that first real year of, getting your own marketing going, just all of that stuff? How'd you feel last year with the year before? So 2023, you obviously were thinking about expanding, like meaning really starting to go all in with it singularly. We had talked, you came in, but like, what was that first year like speaking to other business owners? I mean, where is it? It's kind of scary. Was it nerve-wracking? Did it go as planned because you planned well? Like,
I don't know. I kind of have mixed emotions about that because it was scary in the sense that we were starting something new, but we were established in construction. So if it didn't go well, okay, we're not out anything. We'll just keep doing our own jobs.
Yeah.
On the construction side and gutter. So from that aspect, it wasn't scary, but starting something new, and even though it's, home services and still construction related,
right.
It's a completely different thing than building a house. Right. So it was different in that respect. As far as we started in the middle of 2024,
right?
You said, okay, we're splitting this off, creating its own business. So we didn't have a full year in 24 as far as focusing on it. Finished up 24 a lot better than we anticipated doing.
You were having fun. I know you were having fun, man, the way you were reporting.
And it was, because it was, like, hey, we didn't realize this was going to happen. 2025. Honestly, 25 was probably the scarier year that 24 was, because we realized what was possible.
Yep.
And it started happening fast. And some of it we were prepared for, some of it we were not.
You think you were going to grow that quick?
I did not.
You did well, man.
No.
You did well. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
And I think you have more planned. Let's talk about last year, like goal setting. You didn't have a lot of data to grab from the year before. And, we hear in the program and you see in the masterminds, like constantly new guys coming in that have never done gutters before and they're in their first couple months. You knew how that feel, but you, like you said, you already had a hold on a construction company, kind of had a backup plan. What was it like planning for 2025, which was that full last year, at the end of 2024? Now you've gotten the program a bit, you're starting to dial in, you understand what's possible. Well, how did you prepare yourself to plan though for a whole year without a lot of actual data, like from clients?
Yeah, like you said, not a lot of data to go on. So we we winged it a little bit. Obviously some of the numbers, we had a little bit of data to go by, but we had to kind of make up the rest. And, kind of figuring out, okay, we feel like we can do this much. we're still new in it. We can
figure out what you can bear, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we did when we were, setting goals and that type of thing. We kind of had some marketing ideas ready that we wanted to do, and
Mhm.
some worked out, some didn't.
Right.
And we learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
So we learned while 2025 was a great year and revenue was good and we learned a lot. We made mistakes along the way too, right?
Of course.
But but we learned so much from it that we can carry into 2026 and beyond. So, but it was like I said, it was probably scarier than what the year before was because we had goals now, right?
Yeah. And you want to meet them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I find, that's what happens, right, is we start to recognize the pattern. Right? We start seeing little patterns and then they turn into bigger and then we can start to take data that we have. We're in a similar situation. I have maybe a little bit of an advantage because I know the market and I know kind of so much about gutters in different regions, how this thing can grow. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It just means I might have a higher expectation, like of what mothers can do. We didn't have any data to set a goal for last year. And then starting with the penny, and it's like, it was a little bit funner this year, of course, going like, okay, well, we got some really weak numbers from 2025, but now we have a foundation. So what was it like at the end of this past year, setting the goals for 2026?
I think it got scary again because again, you realize what's possible,
What you're capable of.
And as you know, we made some changes this year in 25.
Mm-hmm.
Had some growth, did some things that we really didn't expect to do. So, when we sat down again, we've got more data to go by now.
Yeah.
And it was scary, but it was fun because again, you realize what's possible. We're 100% gutters now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now you realize, okay, not only is it possible, but it has to work.
Well, it has to be. You start getting into the overhead and planning, and talk to us a bit. What was that first expansion look like? So when you had your own machine prior and you were just doing your own jobs, what kind of machine? What were you running?
We're running a KWM 5-inch.
Okay.
Only machine we had. We bought that machine brand new.
Okay.
And found it on Facebook. Somebody had a brand new machine. They bought it, didn't end up getting into the gutter business. So we bought that. We run the 5-inch machine for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd been getting asked here and there about 6-inch gutter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm like, nobody runs 6-inch around here. Nobody runs 6-inch. So, well, then it started getting more frequent.
Now, Travis, when you say to yourself, nobody's doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the time to start doing it. I mean, for most things, right?
Well, and a lot of time, and we'll get to this in a minute, but
Mm-hmm.
Like a half round machine,
Yep.
Nobody's doing it. We'll go create the market.
Right?
So
you went to it. You 2 years later, you bought a 6, or you buy another 5-6 combo?
No, we actually just bought a straight 6.
Right.
We kept getting asked about it, and I actually told my wife, I said, if I get asked one more time, 6-inch job, I'm buying a machine. Well, by the end of the day, somebody had asked me about it, so I ordered one the next day. It came in and running a 6-inch. So we've got the 5-inch and the 6-inch. We had them both in a trailer.
Yep.
And then last year in 25 mid-year, again, we'd been talking about it for a while. This one was a little more planned out.
Yep.
And so we've been talking about a 6-inch half round machine. So we finally, in the middle of the year, we ended up acquiring one of those. At the beginning of 25, we bought a box truck.
Yep.
So we moved the 2 machines into the box truck, and then bought the half round machine, moved it into the trailer. And the half round machine, I'd been wanting one, but didn't feel I could justify it.
Right.
And of course, I'd talked to you some. I'd talked to Tom, a lot about it. He'd been pushing me, get one, create the market, And anyway, I was like, nah, man, I gotta sell a couple jobs before I do it. Well,
Right.
we had ended up sold 2 jobs before we even ordered the machine. One of those was a copper job, and then the other one, of course, was just aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
But we sold both of those before we ever ordered the machine, and we were very upfront with our clients and told them what the deal was. And so we got that machine middle of the year.
Off to the races ever since.
It has been.
I can't remember. Maybe you this one might stand out for you. It definitely stands out for me, and I apologize that I don't remember the month. But was it this past year, January, or was it what you made a big announcement on the collective about hitting a revenue goal? And I was just so proud of you. You had shared it with me. Do you remember what month that was? When was that?
That was in January.
Okay, yeah. January. You came out strong.
We were actually talking about. It was on the one meeting that we did. We were talking about what our goals were for the year and all that.
That's right, the end of the year, yeah.
And then January came along, and like I said, I only had some data to go by, and my data was off, and in a good way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you came out swinging. I'm proud of you, man. That was so good. What was you got a piece of advice to give to another business owner in that position, starting off 2025? You had some mentorship and coaching. I mean, that's a piece of the puzzle, but a lot of the action literally has to come from you, right? Someone can tell you how to dribble the ball or throw the football, but if you don't get out there and take reps and ask questions, being inquisitive, right? You did all of those things. And I think that's why you're so successful with it right now. But what's the advice you have for someone like at the beginning of 2025 where you're like, I think we're going all in. Okay, actually, we are going all in. We've got the business. Like, if you could save them some time. I know there's a lot, but what's something that really has resonated with you that has become the core of a principle you can share with others?
I would say probably don't doubt yourself as much. I think a lot of times we get in our own head. We see what's possible, but we don't think we can do it.
Right.
Somebody else can.
Yeah.
So I think maybe don't doubt yourself. Believe in yourself more.
Okay.
Like I said, we can see what's possible, but believe it's possible for you.
Man, America is such a great country. There's flaws like anywhere else.
Sure.
Things we have differences about, and areas that this country definitely needs to improve and grow. But one thing sure about it, there's a lot of very hardworking people that like spending money, whether that's in the form of protecting their home wisely or foolishly. It's a great country to be a capitalist in a good way, depending on how that word affects you, right? You've done fairly well with it. So you came in to get the half round machine. You knocked out those first couple jobs. And then have you been staying pretty steady with it, or did it just set after those two and, just crash and burn?
So like I said, we had sold those 2 jobs before we even got the machine. And then we did those 2, of course, as soon as we got it. And then we've done, I think we finished out the rest of the year with 3 or 4 more
nice
jobs, which to me is incredible.
Yeah.
Because we have, zero advertising with it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's changing for 26.
And you've had some good jobs too, right? I mean, you're not just running out one piece in the back of a garage or something.
Yeah, no, we had some really good jobs. Like I said, the copper one obviously, was a great job.
Yeah.
And then we've had three good sized jobs with it, and then one, kind of a small fun job with it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Once you have the machine, I mean, you want to try to push it, and some of them will be small. You'll find that maybe it's not in everyone's budget, because it's okay to have a budget, right? As long as it's a educated budget, if you have a cap of what you're going to spend. But some of those people just like to do a front entryway, or maybe out back by the garden on the, to give them that feel. And it's always nice to be able to run off those little ones too.
Yeah.
What did you think about this year when you were setting your financial goals, particularly your gross profit as well as your total produced revenue? Now that you had this half round machine, what were those expectations for your company this year? I know we don't say, well, we're going to do at least 10 jobs this year, but did you really try to make sure that you outlined a budget like, hey, it'd be really nice to get $100,000 worth of this out this year? Or
Yep.
What did that conversation look like with probably yourself?
Yeah. It was a conversation with myself, looking at a sheet of paper and, again, seeing what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So when I sat down, my goal is 6 to 8 jobs with that machine this year.
Okay.
And which doesn't sound like a lot, right? When we're used to doing, 5 and 6 all the time.
Yeah, but still like one a month, one every other month, something in there.
Right. So 6 to 8 jobs,
okay.
And revenue wise, obviously we'd like for a couple of those jobs to be copper.
Yep.
Which of course will raise that revenue. But, when you look at doing 5 to 6 jobs with that machine versus doing, 50 jobs.
Yeah.
With the K-style,
mm-hmm.
You're going to end up not necessarily the same revenue, but, it's very comparable.
Well, there's so many opportunities, right, for the upsell, whether it's aluminum or copper, the hinge straps, the 4-inch round, whether you're doing case outside of that, whether you're doing K-style and 4-inch round or K-style and smooth. I mean, as you're growing, you're starting to see, and what a great mentor in Tom. I know he takes a very good, I can't talk to Tom about oysters without him bringing you up. Man, you go please with me and Travis I'm like, I just want to talk about oysters, buddy.
Yeah.
No. But I wanted to ask, I know Tom works really hard with a lot of people. So we'll make this specific to his credit. What was it like having somebody, make sure that you could call and say, the first one, should I order it? What type of machine? What are you stocking? What's your price point? All those questions versus kind of just diving into it alone.
Yeah. Really, Tom is probably the sole reason we have that machine.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, like I said, I talked about one, loved to have one, but like, that's not possible here. Nobody's going to buy that here, that type of thing. And, talked to him a lot. He kept pushing me. And finally it's like, let's do it. And, if it hadn't been for him, and obviously I know we could call you or,
Yeah, no, but you had a relationship with him, and that's the intention of having so many coaches.
Yeah.
Is they're all so, I can only do so much. I'm burning on a candle on both ends, right? So,
right.
I'm just so happy
being able to, because man, that first job, I felt like I was calling him every 5 minutes, like, hey man, what's the deal here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the second job we did was the copper one.
Yep.
And, my first experience with copper gutters. Now I had done copper plumbing.
Yeah.
So, kind of similar, but not really.
Not really. Yeah.
And, man, we, of course we practice with it, before.
And that's what's important, right? Is the practice.
It was, man. I mean, without it, it would have been a total disaster. And unlike, as you mess up some aluminum, what's the big deal? You hate it, but you mess up a bunch of copper, you've got a problem.
Not so fun.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Tom for helping.
Absolutely.
Really expedite that for you. Are you eyeballing anything else coming up? I'm probably not right away, but you're now aware. What I was saying about country being so great is you hit the nail on the head. You see, I try to talk to people, and sometimes I'm just talking to myself, but man, I believe in people, especially the people that I know and that I'm working with and dealing with. I absolutely believe, the impossible is so possible, especially in a team environment. So that was kind of just to your point, man, you can take the craziest machine into the wildest places. You know what? Because the consumer, for the most part, unless you're going to like Martha's Vineyard, right, or Beverly Hills or Palm Beach, where these people have had so many homes and so many experiences in the aesthetic opportunities, right? They probably do know that there's a bunch of different styles of gutters because they've lived in different regions. But the average person, sure, that although they see K-style 5-inch or 6 on the neighbors, they don't know the name of it, that it's OG, that it's K-style.
Yeah.
And you start to offer the slant face or the half round, and remind them that maybe looking at their home, they didn't pick builder grade everything. So there is other options, and you're doing that, and you can create a market fairly quickly. What's next on the plate for you?
This year, not really looking at any big purchases necessarily, but focusing on growth. We're currently having our website and everything redone.
Okay.
Getting our SEO in place. Of course, obviously social media. Right now we're just Facebook, but we've got, of course, going to be doing more of that. Instagram, YouTube. So kind of focusing on growth and focusing on those areas as far as advertising and, getting more exposure out there.
What was the biggest lesson last year, the biggest takeaway in 2025? Like kind of maybe a painful one, even though I don't think you had any major hurdles, letting other people know like something maybe that you went through that you're still kind of like, how are we going to deal with this?
I guess my biggest hurdle last year is, and I heard this on a meeting, I don't even think it was a gutter growth meeting. I think it was somewhere else.
Okay.
Is realizing that I'm the bottleneck, and it's hard to swallow sometimes, right? Because we're so used to running our business, being in charge of everything, handling everything, and, realizing that you can only do so much. So realizing I'm the bottleneck is probably the biggest lesson I learned last year. And not really so much a lesson. It was more of a realization that something has to change, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you said it, we didn't have any major hurdles, in 25. It was a fairly smooth year. We were obviously transitioning out of construction. So we had, some kind of bumps in the road there.
Yeah.
But aside from that, no real major things. It was just when you start focusing on it and focusing on yourself, you start realizing, the issues that are behind the underlying issues, I guess is the way to say it.
I'm right there with you. Like I'm doing sales for Mother's Gutters right now, but I'm trying to, we're opening, we just opened a new location. We're actually opening a couple more locations. And, it takes a bunch of work, and we've got the systems and processes in place, right, that we're able to, help expand quickly. And we've got the training, obviously, and the support, but there's just only so much time in the day. But I say that, I'm doing sales with Lisa and I'm training her. She's really good back end, customer service, all that stuff, but she wants to learn sales so that she can hold someone else accountable, right? A leader building another leader, not like the clueless just managing a leader.
Yeah.
So for example, today we went out and looked at a couple. We're riding along. I'm trying to show her, be with her through the repairs, the full wraps, just let her kind of watch me. And I said, it's a new year, remember, because we didn't do any estimates this week, and we had them all today. I said, remember that you're going to take the lead. What do you think happened as soon as we got out of the truck, Travis? Hey, how's it going, sir? All right, man. Well, tell me all about how you heard about us. Holter's Gutter Gate. What solution can I create for you? I'm tying them down, twisting them up. I mean, and I closed, right? And that one was just a little 7-inch piece of gutter. It was like 90 feet of gutter and a downspout. And it was like $1,700 or something.
Yeah.
$2,000. But I was walking back to the truck. She was like, good job. We were only here for 12 minutes and you closed. I would have rather been here an hour and watch you work.
Right.
And get in the truck, whether you didn't close or not, because we've got to start the process.
Right.
And as we're driving to the next estimate, I'm like, I'm going to be the bottleneck of this training. because I'm not going to want to let go.
Right.
For two reasons, not only for myself, it's my wife's company. I want to protect. I'm a great salesperson, so why not do it for her? But oh man, it's like, so, just a little transparency there with what I'm going through. It's like, I'm going to be the bottleneck in releasing sales because, I'm like, I could sell 2 million this year for her.
Right.
And I need to just let her sell 500,000 or whatever it is, and just, let her grow from it. So it's hard to let go.
It is.
But I'm going to have to.
Right.
Just going to have to.
And that's something I'm having to learn myself, from doing all the installs and all the ordering and all, last year, well, I guess at the end of 24, we hired an admin. So we've got somebody answering the phones, taking the information, setting the orders, doing all that. It was one of those things I struggled giving it up, but man, it's been great.
Isn't it?
It is.
Oh man, and I don't want to be just declare I do not want to be out doing sales. It's not like, I'm holding on to it because I love it. I just want to protect I want it to be able to grow for her, right?
Yeah.
But what we often find out when we get ourselves out of the way, everything's okay.
Yeah.
That the best way to let them win is to fail.
Right.
Like, okay. You know what though? When you only got a couple leads, man, you're like, you can't afford to fail at any of them.
Right.
But she's so awesome. But it's a pleasure to be working under her right now. That's why I need to just stay there.
Right.
What are you a reader? Do you read books at all?
Yeah, some.
Anything that you've read recently that you recommend?
I am actually currently reading As a Man Thinketh.
Wow, I have that right there as well, and that's a good one.
Yep, I've read it before, but actually reading through it again, and it's kind of good. Every time you read it, it's you pick up something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a couple. This is so funny, but it's like whatever. So I got two that were just on my desk for the new year. One is How a Husband Speaks.
Yep.
And the other one is Husband in Pursuit. Apparently I have. And then, With God for Men.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, apparently I need to get out of sales and focus on my heart or something. Right. So we do what it takes.
Yep.
Travis, man, I really appreciate you being and hopping on with me today, taking some time. Tell the United States we have a lot of viewers, man. If you guys are listening, please like, follow, share, subscribe. We have tons of stories coming, but none as unique as Travis's. It's been a great journey with you. I'm excited. Will we see you at the summit again this year?
We plan to be there.
We're talking about it now. So we're going to be in New Orleans.
Yep.
We're also, just so you know, I'm releasing this coming, which by the time this comes out will probably already be released. But this coming Monday, we'll be releasing the United States tour. You've seen I've been doing those gutter lives.
Yep.
We just did the last one in California. So we're in Denver, February 28th. I can't remember the rest of the dates off the top of my head, but we're doing Chicago. We're doing Syracuse. We're doing Greenville. We're doing Mobile. We're doing New Orleans and San Francisco. So hopefully I will probably see you at the Syracuse.
Yeah.
Maybe the Greenville or come to both.
Yeah, may come to both. Yeah.
We're
definitely going to make it to one, but we may try to do both.
I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
Later, brother.
Good to see you.